Tastes like burnt chicken. Hello and welcome to Hello, This is the Doom Show. I am Richard.
I am Brad.
And this, according to my records, is episode 23. And we're going to talk about Mario Bava for a while.
Maybe forever.
We've made a list of everything that we've both seen of Mr. Bava. And we're just going to freaking talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
We have no notes whatsoever. And we're just going to talk about Mario, how he was born in Nebraska. And then we're just going to hang up, and that's it.
Even though he's been dead for a long time, he's still alive in our hearts.
He lives within you and me.
Mm-hmm.
And me.
And several DVDs.
Yes. Well, let's see. I think we got some feedback first. I have agreed to go first with an awesome, very kind word from our favorite MLP, Mr. Martin Luther Presley. And this comment is on our anniversary show. And we called him out. We said he was one of our super shining stars because he makes us feel squishy inside.
One of our 1,000 points of light.
That's right. We may have worded it differently, but he's at least 900,000 points of light. So, MLP says, "Oh guys, I swear you made me blush. I'm a fanboy. I'm not ashamed to say that. I loved this show, and not only because I finally knew at least some of the movies you guys were talking about, and I love lists too. Just a few days ago, I watched House by the Cemetery. I still enjoy it a lot, but City of the Living Dead is my favorite of the trilogy, and then probably The Beyond after that. I am one of those who can't ignore that annoying kid." And of course he's referring to Bob.
Bob.
Lovely Bob. Because of one of the older lists, I bought Slumber Party Massacre about a year ago. I loved it. And a while back, I bought the trilogy from Shout Factory, and I love them all. Even Part 3 is great fun. I'm particularly glad to see The Fog in the number 1 spot on Brad's list. It is definitely in my top 3 as well. There were lots more that I wanted to agree or disagree with, but that must wait till I have listened to it for a second time. Whoa, who would listen to us for a second time? What?
I know.
There's quite a packed show and much fun. Cheers from Martin Luther Presley. Yeah, we had to pick, I think, a top 10 non-Italian, non-slasher horror movie list, which was not easy.
No, it wasn't.
But yes, The Fog, man. What a great movie.
I love The Fog. I also love Martin Luther Presley, although I'm still not convinced that it's his real name.
Yeah, he could have some other name. You know how the internet is. All these anonymous people making love. Oh,
well, thank you, Martin Luther Presley.
Heck yeah.
MLP.
We always encourage y'all to write in, richardsplash@gmail.com, or you can comment on cinemasomnambulist.com. That's the blog. You can also hit us up at facebook.com/Hello Doomed Show. Please.
Follow us on Twitter.
Follow us on the Twitter we're not on. Follow us on eBay. Follow us at Walmart. Although my Walmart account has been suspended.
Oh.
I believe you have some feedback as well, sir?
I do. I have an email from Rod of the Nashi Cast. He is also the proprietor of the Bloody Pit of Rod, which is a very nice blog that he writes. Plus, he's started a new podcast called The Bloody Pit, which you can also find on iTunes on the Nashi Cast page. He says, "I've been meaning to write you guys, and just as I think I'm ready, you pop out even more episodes. Damn it. I'll get to the new shows ASAP, but here are some thoughts on earlier ones. Whatever the name of that prog rock documentary you fellas were talking about a couple months back. I must see this. I'm a fan of the old prog sound, Yes, Rush, etc., and find it amusing to know that so much of it has slowly seeped into the culture over the decades as fans become musicians and incorporate it into popular stuff. I enjoyed the new Dylan Dog film well enough, even though it was horribly directed. It should have been a much better film, and a more stylish director could have made a classic out of this fine material. I'll stay with Della Morte Della More, a.k.a. Cemetery Man, for a better representation of the source work, but I can understand the appeal of the new film. I haven't seen Dylan Dog, by the way. You did, I know.
Yeah, it's okay.
And, yeah. I, too, love Tower of Evil. I still have the non-anamorphic DVD that came out more than a decade ago, and occasionally pull it out to marvel at the sleaziness of the whole thing. What a great little horror film. It should be better known, and a new DVD release might go a long way toward giving it the attention it deserves. Doing a podcast on the film might be a good idea as well. It's such a sleazy slice of nastiness that I'm surprised it's not better well known among fans of such things like us. You need to see Knives of the Avengers soon, which I haven't.
I started it.
It's a very good film from Bava that showcases his storytelling skills in ways his horror output often doesn't allow. And it makes me excited to know that it's one of the few films in the two sets that I've actually not seen. So that gives me hope.
Right.
I'm really not sure how anyone could dislike Violent City. I was blown away by the film the first time I saw it, and each time since it has only grown in my estimation. Everything about it, from the opening 10 minutes of wordless chase and character introductions to the harsh ending, just screams classic to me. Films like this are what I like about not just Italian crime movies, but 70s films in general. It's dark, mean, and true to the complex nature of human relationships. I love it. Oh, and I love the Wolfman remake. I know there is much hatred of it out there, but I enjoyed nearly everything about it. I was surprised that it was as well done as it was, but not by the knee-jerk hate from most Universal Monster fans. How dare they have a troubled production? They'd bitch if you hung them with new rope. More later, Rod.
Nice.
So, yeah, thank you, Rod. And yes, I mean, I didn't mind the Wolfman remake. I don't really exactly remember what we said about it, but
I remember enjoying it. I definitely was open-minded when I went into it.
It's a very blue-looking film. It's got that nice blue hue to it.
Oh, the night scenes and.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I think I need to revisit Violent City. I think that's. I have a feeling it's one of those movies. I started it thinking it was going to be something else. Like maybe I was on a Giallo kick. I was like, "Hey, I'll just switch over to Eurocrime, right?" And I just went into it totally wrong. So I will revisit Violent City.
It's a Bronson film?
Yeah, it's Bronson. Oh, I'm trying to remember who else is in it. I bet the internet will tell me. Hey, what do you know? Jill Ireland.
Are you serious?
Yeah. It was Charles Bronson, Telly Savalas, Jill Ireland. And I need to rewatch it. Oh my god.
Is that a cat or a door creak?
I just got Crisco bombed. Apparently I'm not paying enough attention to Crisco.
I saw Crisco in a vlog today.
Yes, that's right. I finally recorded something about my possessions. Oh wait, I do that a lot.
I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Oh, thank you, sir. It's hard to come up with those vlogs. It's like, well, I could like research stuff, or I could just get a pile of my crap and talk about it. Have you listened to The Hysteria Continues, their coverage of Phantom of Soho and Case of the Bloody Iris yet?
No, sir, I sure haven't.
I listened to it, and there's a lot of talk from Stripes the cat.
Uh-huh.
And that's immediately what I thought of when Crisco meowed at me. I was like, oh my god, it's Stripes. Oh wait, no, it's Crisco.
Did Stripes the cat flush the toilet?
No. I don't think he even knows how. I'll teach Crisco how.
You should.
He's a smart cat for being a pain in the ass, so he'd probably accidentally flush himself or something.
Were they favorable on the Case of the Bloody Iris?
Yes, I think all around they really liked Case of the Bloody Iris. I was very nervous. I was worried they weren't going to like it.
Yeah, I have
I
a
was like,
show right now
please.
that will remain unnamed that did a show on a subject that's near and dear to my heart, and I'm afraid to listen to it.
I love
And
that
it's
show.
not our show. Yeah,
We should totally be on that show. Let's be on that show. No, wait. Let's do our show.
okay.
Okay. So
Mario Bava.
ladies and gentlemen, yeah, let's talk some Bava here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 movies. And we'll see how many we get through. Worst case scenario, this will be a 17-part show.
I'm down.
All right.
Let me ask you a question to begin with.
Do it.
Maybe you can tell the listeners a little bit about what was the first Bava film you saw, how you were made aware of him?
Oh, that's a good question. What was the first one I ever saw? I think I saw Kill Baby Kill first. Because I found it on one of those budget DVDs, probably from Alpha. Or, no, I think it was the Diamond DVD. Some weird, cheap-ass version of it. And then probably after Kill Baby Kill, I saw, might have been, Blood and Black Lace, I think.
Really?
Yeah, I was, already familiar with Argento, and I was getting a little familiar with Fulci. And of course, it didn't take me long to discover that there was this other guy, this other bra named
Right.
Mario Bava. And yeah, I think Kill Baby Kill. What about you?
I recorded Black Sabbath, off of TV when I was in high school.
Old school.
And it was the American cut. That it's not the one that's on the DVD in the box set.
Right.
And of course, I had no idea who Mario Bava was. I just knew who Boris Karloff was. But then after that, it was many, many, many years. We rented Black Sunday at the local video store, which is now gone, and really enjoyed that. And then from there, on the infamous honeymoon of death, we bought the 2 box sets.
Nice.
I mean that in the nicest possible way.
Of course you do. That's because your wife is there in the room with you.
She hit me.
When I watched Planet of the Vampires for the first time, it looked it looked a little familiar. Like maybe I'd caught that one before, but
All right.
I just my reaction to Planet of the Vampires, my first official viewing, was very negative. So I probably blocked all of that out of my head.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I've since eaten any words I may have misspoken about Planet of the Vampires. Now I really like it. But yeah, let's start with 1960s Black Sunday, which I have seen. I think I've seen it maybe 4 times now.
Uh-huh.
And I'm still warming up to it. It's about a witch, a nasty old witch, who gets this lovely mask nailed to her face. It's the Mask of Satan, hence the American title.
Correct.
And they bury her buddy, her warlock in crime, on unconsecrated ground, also with a mask nailed to his face. And she curses everybody, as witches are wont to do, before, they nail her face shut. And then 200 years later, I said that weird, and she gets awoken by some dumbass doctor, cuts his hand on her stupid grave, and of course she has an ancestor, and she's gonna steal
Whoa.
her youthfulness from Barbara Steele, and reign again as an evil biatch. And I won't say any more, because I think I just butchered that plot. But you get the idea. Everyone who's listening to this show has seen Black Sunday. Come on.
Right. I love Black Sunday. It to me is the gothic horror film to go to. There are several that rival it. A lot of them seem to star Barbara Steele as well. But I will take Black Sunday over the Hammer Draculas, over the Corman pictures. Ooh. I'm a really big fan of Black Sunday. It's our first horror introduction to Barbara Steele. I think she does a pretty good job. The camera work, this is Bava's first film solo as director, and it's just stunning. The whole thing, the special effects, the camera work, everything.
Yeah, the thing about Mario Bava is whenever he's in the director's chair or in the cinematographer's chair, you're in for beautiful shit, man. You're in for a treat of the senses. And I'm not a big Black Sunday fan. I like it because it's gorgeous. I mean, it's one of the most interesting black and white films I've ever seen. There's like this whole I don't know, fisheye lens kind of bending the edges on certain shots, and it makes it feel like kind of like hyper realistic, and it makes it look fresh, like it wasn't filmed in 1960. Parts of it look like it was filmed yesterday. And but for some reason, I just don't excuse me, I don't just get lost in the movie like I do with his other stuff.
Right.
I do love the violence and the gruesome stuff.
Yeah, from the get-go, where they put the mask and nail the mask into her and the blood comes rushing out, which was cut in the AIP American version. It's just some really nice stuff. And it comes in a horror year of 1960 where you had a lot of really good horror films like Psycho and Peeping Tom. But he held his ground. I think it's as good as a horror debut for a director as you'll see. And I mean, I think it stands up with The Bird with the Crystal Plumage for Argento, or maybe Halloween for Carpenter.
Yeah.
And you see the influence of it everywhere.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, from films made the next year all the way up to Sleepy Hollow.
Oh, yeah. Sleepy Hollow is a big love letter to Bava.
Mm-hmm. But that's pretty much all I've got to say about Black Sunday. I love it. I think
if I'd seen it earlier, if I'd caught it when I was either younger, or if when I approached the Mario Bava canon, if I'd started with that movie, I probably would have flipped out. I probably liked it a lot more. I mean, I definitely have seen... I think I've seen every Barbara Steele Italian Gothic film. I've seen almost every Barbara Steele horror film ever made. But yeah, I think if I'd just seen that one a little sooner, and every time I watch it, I like it more. It's kind of like I love the beginning, and then I love the end, and I'm meeting it in the middle. So one day, I'll probably love the whole thing. It's like a thing that's got parts, and See? That was intelligent.
Yeah.
Moving right along. Wow, we just nailed that. Damn. Mm-hmm. Hello, Podcast Awards. Here we are. Do they give out podcast awards? Or do they...
Not us. No.
Do they just take your podcast away? The next thing on our list is, of course, The Girl Who Knew Too Much. Before we jump onto that, I do recommend Hercules and the Haunted World.
Yes.
If you're not a fan of the Peplum films, then give this one a shot. You'll be surprised. You'll see just what Mario Bava could do with the genre. It's pretty sweet. But
that's a good one.
In fact, we did skip some of his co-directed things, like I, Vampiri, which is really good.
Mm-hmm.
and Kaltiki the Undying Monster, which I have not seen.
Nor have I.
But I'm looking forward to checking that out. Anyway, instead of half recommending films I haven't seen yet, let's move on to The Girl Who Knew Too Much, 1963, aka The Evil Eye. This is a film about a girl. I won't say that she knew too much, okay? Not gonna go there. She's flying to Rome to take care of a sick aunt. And, of course, the aunt dies. And she spends the night, gets freaked out, witnesses a murder. And the rest of the movie is her trying to solve this murder. And this young lady is obsessed with giallo novels and solving crimes. She teams up with a very young John Saxon, who's a doctor. What is that actress's name? Letitia Roman is her. And she spends the movie trying to solve this mystery, and it's considered the first giallo proper.
It is.
And
do you have any qualms with that at all?
No, I think that's what kind of gave it. I think that gave the genre the name. I'm trying to think of any earlier ones. I can't. I'm really bad with years, so if there's anything black and white like giallo-wise I've seen, I get confused. So I'll go ahead and say yes, that's the first giallo, without doing any research or following up on your question in any way.
Good.
Yes. But this was a real treat. This was the one of the films I was really excited about when the Bava box sets from Anchor Bay came out. What did you think of it, sir?
Oh, I'm a big fan of The Girl Who Knew Too Much. I love everything from the Hitchcock-styled name to the fact that it, in a way that a later film we'll talk about, it is very much in the Krimi mold, but it doesn't take too much from the Krimi. If that makes much sense. There's very little humor in it, and where the humor is not really broad based, it's more character based. Where sometimes in the Krimis you can have some almost slapstick type humor. You have, like you said, a very young John Saxon, whose importance to the horror exploitation genres cannot really be overstated. He's in Tenebrae. He's in all kinds of Italian crime films, Nightmare on Elm Street, Black Christmas. The man's a treasure. Yeah,
he's a fine actor.
It's a good mystery. It's very stylish.
Oh, man. Yeah.
I do really enjoy it, and I'm glad that it's considered to be the first giallo because I'm afraid that it might slip through the cracks if it wasn't considered. If it was just another Bava film, maybe people wouldn't seek it out like hopefully they do.
Oh. Well, just for the, I love Bava's color work more. I'm a bigger fan of his work in color films, but
right.
With Black Sunday and The Girl Who Knew Too Much, he is just masterful at making black and white cinema interesting. Because I'm one of those people, I always had trouble with black and white movies. I had trouble with older films. I didn't see what was really special about them until I, pulled my head out of my ass.
Right.
And Black Sunday, Girl Who Knew Too Much are just rewards for finally realizing what I was missing in black and white films. And there's, even if you just love the city of Rome, you will love The Girl Who Knew Too Much. It is a travelogue of all that is beautiful about the city. And like Brad was saying, the mystery is great. It's actually scary in a couple of moments where you really you almost don't want to know what's coming next because it's just, the atmosphere is excellent.
Well, it starts one of the giallo tropes of where the police are of absolutely no help whatsoever to her, and she has to amateur sleuth it up.
Yeah, the cops are just almost a non-entity. Great movie. Great movie. And it was the first movie to be banned worldwide because it was so gory and disgusting.
Where are you getting that information?
I'm pulling it from a place known as my butt. Hey! I couldn't go for, more than a few seconds without mentioning my ass again.
Well, it's fairly tame as far as you could show this to your
totally
grandma. But
not if she's infirm, because that aunt dies at the beginning. That might creep her out.
Well,
why are you showing me this?
You show it to your aunt in Rome.
Oh yeah, she's really freaking out. Get her one of those life alert buttons and she'll be fine.
Yeah.
All right, let's move right along to I think one of Mario Bava's best distributed films. Probably.
No doubt.
Black Sabbath, also 1963. And we're talking about a anthology film with 1, 2, 3, 4 stories? Yes. No, 3.
3, right?
Yeah.
You had me confused for a second.
Sorry. I thought I would, throw a monkey at the wrench.
I was trying to think. I'm like, what's the 4th story?
Oh, man, do you have the director's cut? No, this is 4... Oh, jeez. This is 3 stories. Hosted by none other than Boris Karloff. He introduces each story, and it's pretty amusing, and he stars in... if you're watching the Italian cut, I'm trying to remember the order. Is it Telephone, Drop of Water, Wordalac in the Italian version?
No, it's Telephone, Wordalac, Drop of Water.
Okay, thank you. And he does star in the Wordalac. The first story is about a young lady who is getting mysterious phone calls, threatening phone calls, and her friend comes over. Her friend, who is more than a friend, it's hinted at. And I don't want to say anything because I don't want to spoil anything else, but let's just say the ladies are menaced by a mysterious individual.
And it's the first Italian thriller in color.
The next story, The Wordalac, is a vampire tale with the giant teeth himself, Mark Damon. He is traveling and he happens upon a severed head, a man with his head cut off, not just the head by itself. And he ends up traveling to a family home and vampires are involved. Oh, screw it, I'm moving on. Finally, the last story is The Drop of Water. A woman who is taking care of a sickly woman. She is a greedy biatch and steals the ring off the woman's finger when she dies. And hilarity ensues.
No doubt.
And I'm reading from the screenplay. That this is I'm translating from the Italian, so that's how legit this all is. Right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I think that Black Sabbath is the first of what I consider to be Mario Bava's masterpieces.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a weak story in the anthology, which is extremely rare. In fact, it may be the only anthology film without a weak story, in my opinion. I don't know how you feel.
I can't argue with that at all.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people forget that it's an anthology, or that when they start talking about Creepshow and the Amicus films, I think they often forget about Black Sabbath, which the first segment, The Telephone, is very different in the American cut. And I don't want to get into any of that. I don't want to spoil it in case people haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's one of those things, it's cool to watch the American cut first, but for a while there, I only had that version. So you gotta make sure you have the Italian one on hand, because it's way better.
The only thing that I would change about the Italian cut is that I would put Boris Karloff's actual voice into it.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They chose to dub him. It's like when you have someone with a distinct voice, let him speak.
Yeah.
It's like when Farley Granger is dubbed. Come on.
The middle segment is one of my favorite vampire films ever.
Nice.
I think it is just outstanding, which, of course, as you and I have talked about before, Night of the Devils from the early 70s is pretty much a remake of The Word of Lack, and it's coming out on Raro Videos DVD.
Man, I cannot wait for that.
I can't either. No, in September.
I love Night of the Devils.
And to be able to see it in a much better... I mean, because to be kind, the versions that are out there are not any good.
No.
I mean, even the better one of the two, I think there's two floating out there.
Yeah.
The better one, it's between seeing a VHS dub that's been dubbed 7 or 8 times being broadcast through rabbit ears onto a small black and white television to the same thing on a color television. I mean, it's really, both versions are very rough.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited to see, because I love that film and I love the Word of Lack episode.
Yeah. Well, if Raro Video can come through on that the way they've done with everything else they've done, then I am very, very excited, man.
No doubt.
I can't wait. And how'd you feel about The Drop of Water?
I think it's scary, even today.
Yeah.
It's scary. Even though I know every beat of the film, I think it's probably... It's the scariest of the three. It might be the best of the three. I don't know. I probably prefer The Word of Lack.
Yeah.
But The Drop of Water is just, it's terrifying.
It's unsettling.
It is. I mean, and it sets a template for films up through today, like Dead Silence, I think, takes a lot from it.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a little gem of a film that I enjoy. Now, if I'm not mistaken, the woman, the nurse in A Drop of Water, is Jean Pierre-Léaud's mother, who played Antoine Doinel in the Antoine Doinel cycle for Truffaut.
Really?
That's his mother.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Nice. Look at that. We bring in Truffaut to the show.
I'm telling you. What
Nice.
What do you make of Black Sabbath?
Black Sabbath was not a favorite the first time around. I think it was partly me and partly the American version I saw.
Right.
And I'm not a big anthology film fan, although it was sort of revealed during my episode with Jose there, just how much I love anthology films, because I'd seen them all. But no, I really like this film a lot now. This is one that's always fun to put on. It's never a chore. It's just it's a good time flick. I don't have a favorite story. I think they're all amazing for what they're worth. Yeah, it's just fantastic. I think all three of them could have been their own film. Given if they'd had more like expanded plots or whatever, I think they would have been just 3 great Bava films by themselves. But yeah, there's beautiful Italian women. Mark Damon's giant teeth,
Mm-hmm.
Harriet Medine is in it.
Oh, yes.
We're big fans of Harriet Medine on this show. We love her.
Oh, no doubt.
She's awesome. Yeah, I think it's really good.
It's so colorful. That's what sticks with you.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons. That's one of the first things I thought of when I was saying that his color films, win me over more than his black and white ones do, but just because it's like the colors in this movie are their own character. They're their own beyond the set piece,
Uh-huh.
That's what makes this shit special. And, hey man, we have gone and we have talked about 3 Mario Bava films just like that.
Just like that.
Just like that. So we're going to take a quick break. You'll hear a word or two from our friendly podcast friends, and we'll be back to talk about, what's his name? Mario Bava, damn it. Not Toby, damn it. Although we might talk about Toby, damn it. Why not?
Why not?
All right.
The supernatural powers of the evil eye claim still another victim. Its malevolent enjoyment of tantalizing torture hangs threateningly over John Saxon, Letitia Roman, and Valentina Corteza,
Oh, she was always against me. She hated me.
Madness. And the maddening aura that destroys reason fills their every breath with the smell of death.
Miss Drawson, have you ever seen a murder before?
No, I've never seen anything like that. Never.
Oh, stop playing games, will you, Longini? I don't know what you're trying to do, but I know that you're involved in this. Perhaps Nora has seen the killer. But how do we know that he hasn't seen her?
The evil eye, like relentless tides, reaches out for them. And they defiantly hold ecstasy and horror in their arms and touch lips with terror, while the evil eye watches their every kiss and invades their subconscious.
All right, we are back from our short break, and our next film is also from 1963, although I'm a little confused. It's directed by someone named John M. Old, or John Mold. This is The Whip in the Body. This is about Christopher Lee whipping on a chick. She pretends not to like it, but you know she likes it, and there's a ghost involved. How's that?
It's perfect.
Sweet.
The Whip in the Body.
How do you feel about this film, Bradley, sir?
I like it. I've seen it 3 times. I bought a super budget DVD of it at a gas station, and on this very show, you were speaking about the Tim Lucas commentary, and I'm like, what?
What? And
then magically it appeared in my mailbox like 3-4 days later. It was amazing.
I don't know how that happened.
Beats me. I think, and I read, and I would like to credit who I read it from, but I don't remember, where The Horrible Secret of Dr. Hitchcock tackles necrophilia, The Whip in the Body tackles sadomasochism.
I think that's a fair estimate of the films.
Yeah, I thought, how apt.
Yeah.
It's another color, beautiful film. Harriet Medmouth is in this one as well.
All right.
It's Christopher Lee way back in the day. It's more of a gothic romance horror.
Yeah.
I like it. I need to see it more.
Yeah, this was a film that I saw and I liked, and it just kept coming back up in my mind, and eventually one day this was the first audio commentary from Tim Lucas I really listened to. I was not an audio commentary kind of guy. I never listened to him.
Really?
And I just didn't like him that much, but for some reason I decided to put The Whip in the Body on and listen to the commentary while I watched it, and it was amazing. And it kind of helped with my appreciation of the film. But it didn't take much with, like you're saying, the freaking beautiful, beautiful color. I mean, this is pretty damn goth, you know? It's like, it is a romance. It's a very twisted romance with doomed lovers and freaking ghosts and possession, and it's really good. Secret passages and freaking gorgeous castle, and oh man, this film has gone from something I kind of liked to something I really love. This is now one of my favorite films from Mario Bava, and it just feels like there's even more to discover in it. Like, that's part of what makes, you know, Mario Bava and these other Italian dudes we love so much, is that these films, they don't just like bear repeat viewing. Like, they require it. You know, you really got to sink your teeth into these things because there's so much going on. And I
think it also marks a passing too. This is the last film of its kind that he does. He does one more gothic horror film which is Kill Baby Kill, which we'll get to.
Yeah.
But after this, really, I'm not going to say his style doesn't change, but the types of films that he make kind of change, in my opinion.
I think so. I think you're right. I think there seems to be more emotion in Whipping the Body.
Uh-huh.
Maybe the emotion of the characters takes a back seat after that.
Well, you look at the films that are coming up: Blood and Black Lace, Planet of the Vampires, then of course Kill Baby Kill.
Yeah.
Danger Diabolic. I mean, you're starting to move into a different direction. This is the last of his, like the Word-a-Lac and Black Sunday. It's almost, like I said, he's got one more Gothic in him, true Gothic.
Mm-hmm.
But it kind of almost seems like, what am I trying to say?
Maybe he kind of summed up what he was trying to say with that type of storyline.
Yeah, it's the last maybe of his more restrained films as far as the horror tropes of the day.
It gets a little wild with Blood and Black Lace.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very wistful, Gothic romantic film, and it's a little bit twisted, but it's in no hurry to take you where it's going,
Yeah.
No, it bears multiple viewings. I'm looking forward to seeing it again already. I've seen it once on my budget DVD, and then I watched it again when you sent me the copy, and then I watched it again with the Tim Lucas commentary.
Yeah. It's good shit, man.
Yeah, I do enjoy it.
Awesome. Well, let's go into 1964's Blood and Black Lace, which is the first giallo, I guess, that would set up the style of the whole genre.
Mm-hmm.
It's about a fashion house that is plagued by a series of murders. All the beautiful ladies of this modeling house are getting killed in various ways, and shit. That's it. Don't want to spoil it.
Well, I mean, it's your first Italian body count film.
Yeah.
And I think, it has more things in common with the Crimi than The Girl Who Knew Too Much did. And that's not to say that it's any kind of regression or anything.
Right.
I think it's Italian, but it's got a German kind of feel to it too. I think so. I mean, your inspector has kind of got a Lex Barker look about him from like the torture chamber of Dr. Sadism.
Oh yeah.
And it kind of follows. I mean, he's already invented the giallo with The Girl Who Knew Too Much, and then now he is really setting down the template for a lot of what's to come. Like you said, you've got the faceless guy in the raincoat with the fedora as a killer.
Yeah. Which you will see over and over and over and over in giallos.
Yeah. The particular scene where the killer is chasing one of the girls through the antique shop.
Oh my god.
And there's the flashing neon sign.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could put that on a loop and just watch that over and over. Very, very stylish.
Yeah, I watched Blood and Black Lace with the commentary on last night, and Tim Lucas was saying that was Mario Bava's signature scene.
Really?
Yep. That chase through the antique shop.
It's very well done. It's very suspenseful even today. I've seen the film probably 4 or 5 times.
Oh yeah.
I've got the double disc VCI that actually my friend Matthew bought and left here. So thank you, Matthew.
Hey,
This was in our doomed Giallo-thon, our one and only Giallo-thon that we had, and really no one seemed to like this film other than Elizabeth and I. And I don't know why.
I'm going to say this: Mario Bava is a hard sell when you have friends come over to watch movies. I mean, unless all of your friends are into Italian horror and I mean into it. If you just have people coming over, they know you have a bunch of gory horror movies, they're not going to be patient with this film. They're not going to really appreciate it because, I mean, I've shown Bay of Blood to some friends, and it was a disaster. Everybody hated it. And people were falling asleep. They hated it. They were, like, leaving for the night. And I was like, oh my God, Mario Bava, what happened?
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those things. Like, I think out of the big three Italian horror directors, those three being Dario Argento, Lucio Fulci, and Mario Bava, he's the hardest to just jump right into. I mean, he's one of the most striking. But I think as far as, like, his storytelling and stuff, it requires more attention. You know, your attention will be grabbed, but not the way your attention would be grabbed with Argento. Like, for example, that same evening, I put on Phenomena after Bay of Blood, and people were bouncing off the walls.
Really?
Yeah. They were like, why didn't you play just this movie? I'm like, because Bay of Blood is the shit, moron.
Yeah.
But, hey, whatever. I just remember having friends.
It's been a while, huh?
It's been a while since I played Bay of Blood for people. Hey, what? There was something else I wanted to say about Blood and Black Lights. Oh, yeah. Two things. One, the scene in the antique shop with the flashing light was recreated, but much more cheaply and much not as goodly in Crimes of the Black Cat or the Yellow Shawl whatever movie.
Mm-hmm.
They tried to do that scene, and it's pretty stylish, but it just is not as beautiful. But hey, at least they made a reference to it.
You know, Rod and Troy have surmised on the Naschy cast that is somewhat recreated in Tombs of the Blind Dead.
Oh, that's true. That's right. The when the chick comes back to life and is running around the morgue, right?
I think it's the Mannequin Factory.
Oh, that's right, because she goes after... Whoa, man, I haven't watched Tombs of the Blind Dead in a long time. Time to revisit that one. The other thing I wanted to say about Blood and Black Lights before I turn it over to you is it took 3 viewings before my wife managed to stay awake during the movie.
Wow.
Because I watched it, I loved it, I played it for her, she passed out. Next viewing, I played it, she passed out. And then the third time, I was like, hey, you need to be awake for this, damn it. And that was during that Mario Bava movie-thon I had, and she did it. She stayed awake for Blood and Black Lace.
Bava Doom.
Bava Doom, yeah. I think I watched 17 Bava movies in 3 days. I can't remember the exact numbers now, but yeah, that was good times.
I'm going to hurt your feelings now and tell you that my wife cannot stay awake during Terror Creatures from the Grave. But well, I do not think it is a comment on the film. I think it is we've just got this crappy budget version of this.
I need to copy my copy of Terror Creatures from the Grave for you, because mine's pretty good. Is yours in a pack with other movies, or is yours a standalone?
No, it's in a pack.
Yeah, because I think Alpha Digital did it justice by accident. I mean, usually their stuff is kind of, it is what it is, but this one's kind of cropped, sort of widescreen, and I don't think any of the gore is cut out, because it's pretty gory.
I would love to see it.
Yeah, I will copy for you. Terror Creatures from the Grave, whenever I watch Black Sunday, and people are going to think I'm an idiot, I'm sorry, but whenever I watch Black Sunday, I wish I was watching Terror Creatures from the Grave. It's just my own personal taste, but...
Now, who directed Terror Creatures from the Grave? Was it someone that we know?
That's a good question. I'll look it up. You tell me if you have any final comments on Blood and Black Lace.
It's got almost all your tropes there. You know, your cops are somewhat inefficient. You've got your killer. You've got your fashion house. You know, the fashion models being murdered. It's all there. It's beautifully shot. If you haven't seen it, you need to see it.
Oh, yes. I do like me some Massimo Pupillo. He directed just a few things. Terror Creatures from the Grave. He followed it up with The Bloody Pit of Horror.
Ooh.
Yeah. There's a special movie right there.
Nice.
Mickey Hargitay going ballistic. Oiling up his beautiful body. But yeah, not a lot from that director. But yeah, I highly recommend Terror Creatures from the Grave. The other thing about Blood and Black Lace, the frickin' violence.
It's very violent.
It was probably pretty shocking for people in 1964. I mean, we got all kinds of strangulations, and then we got drowning, and then we got face pressed against a burning oven, you know.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Typical stuff, but just for 64, man, it's brutal.
Yeah, I'd say you hit the nail on the head there. I bet it was pretty shocking to see that.
So that's Blood and Black Lace. We recommend it. I don't think there's anything on the list we don't recommend on this episode.
No, there's not.
Nope. Let's see. Next up is a movie that took me a while, and I mean like a while, to connect with. This is 1965. This is Planet of the Vampires. Mario Bava and his horror sci-fi flick. A group of astronauts get stranded on a planet because of some, it's either meteors or radioactivity or something like that, and they end up crashing on this planet, and all of a sudden all hell breaks loose. They're trying to kill each other. The dead are coming back to life. It's pretty nuts. Definitely will not spoil the amazing revelations for you. I hated this movie the first time I saw it. I despised it. I fell asleep and I woke up angry that it was still on. Like,
wow.
Yeah, I don't ask me what I was expecting, but this just rubbed me the wrong way. And when I did my Mario Bava movie-thon, I kind of expected it to have the same reaction, but I was more engaged, and I felt like a total dumbass. Like, I love Planet of the Vampires. Now, I'm not going to say it's not trying on my patience if I'm, kind of tired or whatever, but This is, oh man, it's a treat for the senses. It is gorgeous, and it is got a little kitschy stuff stuck in some of the sci-fi stuff is really cheesy, but man, it's just an excellent, excellent film. How do you like Planet of the Vampires?
Well, the first time I saw it, we watched it online because we did not, I don't think I could source a copy of it at the time. And then when our local video store went out, they had a copy and I bought it for $5.
Heck yeah.
Obviously it's the Midnight Movies MGM deal, but no, I liked it. I can see it's a little bit slow at times. After you get going and then you see it again, you're like, you just kind of soak it in.
Yeah.
Even though Dan O'Bannon and Ridley Scott claim to not have seen it, it is clearly an inspiration on Alien.
Oh, yeah.
I recently, this past weekend, saw It, the Monster from Beyond Space, which is another... you take that movie and Planet of the Vampires, put them together, you've got Alien. Well, you need a tall woman like Sigourney Weaver thrown in there too. But no, it's a good film. They're wearing outfits that the X-Men would wear in the first two X-Men films. You have a young Ivan Razumov.
Oh yeah.
In it. maybe somewhat in a way like Franco Nero in The Wild Wild Planet for Marguerite.
Oh, yeah.
Except Razumov, I don't think he really says anything in the film.
No, probably not.
He took very little and made a lot out of it. The sets just look amazing, and you read and you find out that it was like he had like 3 rocks that he multiplied with mirrors and double exposure, and the planet is covered in foggy mist, and you find out that was just to cover up the fact that they were on a set.
Oh, yeah.
He works his Baba magic. I think that's something we haven't really mentioned yet, is that he could take 50 cents and make $7 out of it, which actually led to trouble later that we'll get to. But I've read that it's the finest Italian sci-fi film ever made. I've not seen a lot of Italian sci-fi.
Yeah, I've seen just a little.
I could say someone would be hard-pressed to come up with a better Italian sci-fi film than that one.
Yeah, the thing we really, like you're saying, we haven't mentioned is that he was the master of visual effects as well as cinematography and
in-camera visual effects.
And spot-on direction. I mean, he would take a wide shot, have the actors in the corner, and then just slip in this frickin' matte painting that he did. And, I think it was somebody was telling a story about Baron Blood, and he'd done some matte stuff in that. And he told them he's working for hours on this shot, and they asked him what he was doing, and he had them look through the viewfinder, and they didn't even know what they're looking at. They didn't even understand because, the way the visual shot was set up, it wouldn't show you things properly in the viewfinder. It would just turn out great on film.
Right.
And it's like, it's some kind of demented genius that can come up with that.
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah.
Well, I mean, he was a painter. His father was an artist and a cinematographer. I mean, he got it honest, He
got it honest. Nice. Thank you. That's one of my mother-in-law, Margie's, favorite expressions that I had never heard before in my life.
Really?
She's like, yeah, she got it honest. And I'm like, God, what honest? She got it honest. I'm like, what are you talking about? Apparently, people have sayings.
They do.
They do.
Yeah.
Like, slow down, Turbo. Or, fuck that, Randy. I'm totally outing you on fuck that, Randy.
On Slow Down, Turbo?
Yep.
Or Is It Any Count?
Is it any count? Look that one up, people. Brad had to explain it to me.
Well, it's just a popular idiom around here. So, final thoughts on Planet of the Vampires?
If you didn't like it the first time, be sure to watch it again. Hopefully you're smarter than me, and you will like it the first time. And, great movie.
Not actually any vampires in the film.
It should be Planet of the Zombies, but
it should be.
Wait.
It should be.
Yep. But hey, why split hairs? Why split them? Why?
You shouldn't.
I don't want to. Let's just move on.
Okay.
All right. Our next film is one of my favorites of Mr. Mario Bava, and that is Kill Baby Kill from 1966. Which I like much better than the Italian title, which is Operazione Paura, which I think just means Operation Fear.
Yeah.
Or Autopsy Fear or something. Yeah.
Whatever.
I'll stick with Kill Baby Kill. It makes sense-ish. Kill Baby Kill is about a doctor who travels to a very remote countryside to investigate a series of suicides that are all connected in some way. It appears that folks, die and then they have a frickin' coin shoved in their heart or whatever. And some shit happens. But I don't want to spoil any of that shit.
Right.
How do you like Kill Baby Kill, Brad?
It is the next in what I consider to be a masterpiece of Bava. It has a young Erica Blanc, a young Giacomo Rossi Stewart.
Oh, that's right.
A lot, and I know that you know this, but there is a lot of Japanese and Asian horror that has a basis right here.
That is very true.
You've got basically a little girl haunting a community. A red ball's in play. There's the Villa Grops, which is this decrepit old mansion that this woman lives in. The townspeople are terrified. And then, of course, you've got the interloping doctor and his assistant, trying to make sense of what's going on and try to get to the bottom of it. It's really, you can't say too much about Kill Baby Kill because it's just brilliant. There's a set piece towards the end, which I don't mind saying, where the doctor is chasing after himself.
Oh, man. So good.
The little girl, Melissa, is actually played by a boy.
Oh, that's right. I totally forgot.
And you never know until someone told you or you read it, and then it's
right.
obvious.
And you're like, oh, now I can't unsee it.
Yeah, exactly. So we've ruined that part for you.
Haha, spoiler alert, gender bender alert.
I know that this is Tim Lucas's favorite Bava film, and he is certainly a Bava expert. I know that another company was coming out with a commentary on a DVD by Tim Lucas at the same time that Anchor Bay was putting it out, and somehow only a few copies got out. Anchor Bay put a stop to it, which is why we don't have a Tim Lucas commentary in the Anchor Bay box set, which is a travesty.
Thanks a lot.
If they put, if you could go to Video Watchdog and pay $10 for a track that you could play of him talking about the film, I'd do it.
Yeah, me too.
Because on top of everything else, it's his favorite, and it would be so interesting to hear his insights on the film.
Yeah, he probably just washed his hands the whole thing.
I know Martin Scorsese is a big fan of Kill Baby Kill. It's just a really, really good Gothic film. Pretty much his last Gothic film. I think probably.
Yeah, kind of.
There's
Gothic stuff in other ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the last pure one.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I would pay good money, like at least a couple dozens of dollars, to go back in time and frickin' watch this in a theater.
Oh, man.
Or in a drive-in. It would. This is such a fucking great movie.
It is very good.
Yeah, this is pretty much mesmerizing, and like you were saying, there's some really surreal stuff that happens in this movie, caused by the haunting of this malignant little girl boy ghost. This is really what got me into Mario Bava. It was from the beginning all the way to the end. It's a very I don't know how to, I guess, visually seductive. I mean, you look at certain frames of this and you're just like, this is special. This is a very special movie. This isn't just some frickin' throwaway horror crap. This is something crafted by an artist,
Well, it's got some of his famous "someone's looking at you through a window" crash zooms.
Oh yeah,
it's got a little scene at the beginning where a swing set, someone swinging at a swing, but there's no one in the swing, and you just hear laughing. I mean, it's just masterfully done, and honestly, one of his masterpieces, I think.
Yeah. I really like the score by Carlo Rusticelli. This is he also did the score for Blood and Black Lace. It's just awesome. But yeah, this movie is absolutely essential for. If you even half like Bava and you haven't seen this, then do it immediately.
Do it.
Do it to it, Mountain Dew. Anything else to say about that fine film, sir?
No, sir.
All right, I think we're going to take another break, and we'll be back. We are just keep on trucking here. We're almost to the halfway point of the Bavas.
Excellent.
So, yeah, stay tuned.
You shiver and shake, quiver and quake when you see Kill, baby, kill. A man of science baffled by a kind of life he can't understand.
The leech spine.
Challenged by a kind of death he can't accept. Threatened by a kind of violence he can't fight.
I can't stand it anymore, Paul. They're going to kill us all.
Monica, get a hold of yourself.
But they're going to kill us all. I know it, Paul. I know it.
We have to get help from someone.
Okay, we are back. And we're going to really change things up for you. We're going to talk about a very special film from 1968 called Danger Diabolik. This is a spy caper, or a crime caper film with, oh man, I'm blanking. What's his name?
John Philip Law.
Oh yes, John Philip Law is the one and only Diabolik, and his lady friend Marissa Mel is Eva, and he is the world's most elusive criminal, and he is trying to become fabulously wealthy as well as stop evil people, like the evil Adolfo Celli. And Marissa Mel is hot. That's all the plot I remember from it off the top of my head.
Let's see. It's
I've only seen it once.
Based on a fumetti, which is an Italian comic book.
Yeah.
This film, unlike any other film ever made, is like a comic book. It's more like a comic book than any of the American comic book films. It looks like a comic book. It's ingenious in the way that it looks like a comic book. The stuff that he does is unbelievable. In fact, if they had made a Spider-Man film in 1968, I would have hired Mario Bava to direct it, and I would have hired John Philip Law to play Spider-Man. Because he looks kind of like Spider-Man. He's gangly, long, thin.
Yeah.
Marissa Mel is super hot.
Mm-hmm.
He's got this amazing hideout / headquarters. Mario pulls every trick in the book. Forced perspective, matte paintings, the shifting process, everything.
Everything.
Very, very well done and very, very underrated. I don't hear a lot of people talk about it except for recently Rod, who wrote in earlier on the Bloody Pit podcast, named it as one of his top 10 favorite films.
Nice. Which
I found to be odd in a way, but I was like, hell yeah, I want to hear somebody talk about Danger Diabolik. Yeah, I've seen it twice. I saw it once, and then I saw it again with the Tim Lucas, John Philip Law commentary.
Nice.
Seek this one out. It's a masterpiece of its own.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a horror film, but man, there's just so much going on, and he just packs the frame. It's fast-paced, and like you said, it's got Adolfo Celli in it.
Yeah. I've only seen this once, and I did really enjoy it. I think I knew exactly what I was getting into. It wasn't like I was confused. Like, oh, is this a horror movie or something? No. You know, I knew exactly what I was going into. Tons of style. Tons of my cat puking. God, that's really distracting. Where is my cat? Where is he throwing up? More importantly, what is he throwing up on? Anyway.
Why is he throwing up?
Yeah, Crisco's always throwing up. That's his shtick.
What happened to Sparkles?
Sparkles is... Well, she doesn't throw up, so no one pays attention to her.
Oh.
No, Sparkles is good. She's just
we get
big.
video evidence of Crisco. We hear from Crisco.
Well,
Crisco wanders in and out of the recording.
He's an obnoxious bastard. Sparkles, she's more soft-spoken, but she can be just as insistent on attention. But yeah, she does not throw up as much as he does, so she sadly gets forgotten,
So the key to getting attention in the Schmidt household is the level of which you vomit.
Yeah, levels and also frequency.
Okay.
But anyway, I do like Danger Diabolik. I think it's a very funny film. There's this wacky comedy. It's very sexy movie with Marissa Mel, just unbelievably gorgeous in the movie. It's some macho action it's kind of a Bond movie in a way. I mean, with Adolfo Celli there, and I mean it's almost like Baba's Bond film. It's like Brad was saying, you have to see it just to believe it. It is very much a comic book film done right.
I actually rented this at my local video store.
It's pretty awesome.
How odd is that? Yeah.
Good on your video store. But yeah, I don't have too much else to say about it. I have only watched it that one time. I'd like to revisit it though.
It's good stuff.
Yeah. Well, let's move right along. 2 years later, Mario Bava would get hired to throw something together very quickly. A film called $5 for an August Moon in 1970, and this is a giallo with, I think, a plot probably, I think saying it was written on a cocktail napkin would be probably a little too kind to the plot of this movie.
They wrote down, let's base this on Agatha Christie's 10 Little Indians.
Yes, but let's not worry about anything until we're dubbing it later. This movie is about a group of people on an island. One of them is a scientist who's invented a formula that will revolutionize the world. And everyone is there on the island to try and buy this formula off of him, and they can make their fortune. And of course, people start dropping like flies, as in good old giallo fashion. It's very simple movie, very silly. When it's not simple, it's overly complicated and bizarre. We see a very young and, of course, gorgeous Edwidge Fenech. We see, who else is in this movie? Howard Ross, William Berger, and it's just a lot of fun. The score by Piero Umiliani is very, very jazzy, very infectious, fun, good time score. All kinds of intrigue. Lesbian romance and people hanging like meat in freezers. How do you like $5 for an August Moon?
I like it. It's not one that I watch a lot.
Yeah.
The story, or my story, when I first started getting into gialli, I printed out a lot of lists that people had put on the internet. And I don't remember who it was, but someone said, I'm about to commit some heresy and tell you all that $5 for an August Moon is my favorite Bava film.
Weird.
And I thought, well, this is interesting, because I'd seen a couple of Bava at that point. So we watched it, and it's not a particular favorite. I like it from the standpoint that it's my first Edwidge film. It was the first time that I saw her that I know of. Very Agatha Christie-like we said. I like the ending probably about as well as I do any of the film. It's very, it kind of sticks with you.
Yeah.
I know that he was, they called him on a Friday and he started on a Monday, the following Monday. I don't really have a lot to say about it, really.
Yeah. He makes up for lack of preparation with just heaping style and strange shots and the very black humor. The humor that you will see, pretty much through the rest of his movies. I mean, it's very it's gallows humor, very obvious, comparing the dead bodies to meat in a butcher shop and stuff like that. It's fun. The most insanely stupid sequence in the movie is a bunch of folks are partying. They're basically staying together so they don't die. They're drinking, They're hanging out because they all suspect one another of being the killer. And while they're drinking, they start getting more and more sleepy, and they all pass out. And next thing you know, this ship of sailors, presumably the police, show up on the island, and they don't find anyone. There's no one in the house. There's no one anywhere. And it flashes again to these people waking up. And they'd left a tape recorder on, record, while they were partying. And they discover that the cops came by, but they were missing. So the killer, they passed out. The killer moved their bodies, cleaned up the house, and then once the cops left, they put everyone back exactly as they were, put everything back exactly as it was, so that they wouldn't know that the cops had been there.
I'd forgotten about that. That is a clever bit.
It's clever in the stupidest way possible. It doesn't make a lick of sense. And the more you watch this movie, it just gets weirder and more bizarre. Like, what? Well,
if they'd have called anyone
classic.
else, it would have been a much lesser film in anyone else's hands anyway.
Exactly. I mean, it would have been like, I don't know, La Bambola di Satana.
Yuck.
Whenever I talk about shitty giallos, I'm going to mention that movie. Bloodsucker Leads the Dance.
Double yuck.
Ooh. Yeah. I do like $5. And yeah, it's not one you're going to get out and watch very often, but it is kooky. Kooky.
Very much so.
All right, shall we move on to the next movie? Shall we?
Yes,
Okay.
please.
All right. I don't know if you answered me or not.
No, I did not.
Jeez. Released the same year as $5 for an August Moon is a film I've grown to like quite a bit called Hatchet for the Honeymoon. Which was it took me a long time to track down a copy of this. For some reason, the Image DVD went out of print and then kind of disappeared. It was hard to find. And I ended up renting it from, I think it was one of the first movies I rented from Netflix. And I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. And then it wasn't until I bought it and I had a chance to sit down with it, I really enjoyed it. But wait, what's it about? Oh yeah, duh. Hey, how about I read the IMDb plot for this one?
Please do.
Here we go. A bridal design shop owner, hey, you're in trouble already, kills various young brides-to-be in an attempt to unlock a repressed childhood trauma that's causing him to commit murder. That bridal design shop owner is played by Stephen Forsyth. And, yeah, he's all about the ladies, killing them, especially when they're about to get married. And he openly admits in the very beginning of the movie that he is a psychopath. Very, American Psycho-esque. Except his ass isn't quite as nice as, that beautiful ass on that, Christian Bale guy, right?
Mm-hmm, and they're also not in America.
Yeah, that too. He falls head over heels for Dagmar Lysander, who, Dagmar Lysander. Amazing.
Who wouldn't fall head over heels with her?
God. His wife is played by Laura Betty, who we'll see again in Bay of Blood. Laura Betty is amazing. He, of course, kills his wife and then is maybe haunted by her. I don't know. You'll have to watch. But yeah, this movie is a lot of fun. It's kind of like a cheesy, colorful, kind of almost like Psycho inspired type of thing. But I don't know. I get a really unique vibe from this movie. Hatchet for the Honeymoon doesn't feel like any other movies. I mean, it has plot elements from a lot of like familiar plot elements, but it just seems like a really more so than some of his other movies. This feels very, very unique. I don't know what I'm thinking of, but how do you like Hatchet for the Honeymoon?
I've only seen it once, but even just from one viewing, I think it might be his most underrated film.
I can see that.
I didn't like the idea of it at first because I knew you went going in, you knew there was no mystery about it as far as the identity of the killer.
Right.
But it's one of the films you and I watched over the phone, like a couple of 12-year-old girls.
Oh, that's right.
And, yeah, that was the only time that I've seen it.
Oh, my God. I didn't realize that was the first time you'd seen it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. I'm sorry I spoiled it for you.
Oh, no. Not at all. It's got some really striking imagery.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the rooms and whatnot. Dagmar is amazing.
Of course.
Because she's amazing. It's before she started hitting the sauce pretty hard.
Oh, yeah.
It's one that I look forward to seeing again. And like I said, just from the one viewing, I feel like it's probably underrated because you don't hear a lot about it.
No, it's another really pretty movie. A lot of great camera work, some suspenseful stuff. Maybe a little Hitchcock influence. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. You know.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's good stuff. I really I recommend this one, and it's kind of like you're saying, underrated. I mean, it's waiting to be rediscovered. I would love to see. I think the Image DVD is worth seeking out, but I'd sure like to see this one improved upon with maybe a Blu-ray.
It's coming.
Yeah. There are actually Mario Bava Blu-rays coming out. Finally.
Yeah, and it's three good ones. Black Sunday, Hatchet for the Honeymoon, and Lisa and the Devil.
Nice. Are you sure it's Hatchet for the Honeymoon?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
It's not Kill Baby Kill.
No.
Oh my God. I didn't
pretty
even,
sure.
For some reason, I didn't even realize Hatchet for the Honeymoon was one of the Blu-rays.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm pretty sure.
I'll definitely pick that up. Holy shit. Yeah. That's Hatchet for the Honeymoon.
Now we come to a big movie.
Oh yeah, this is very influential film. I think this one got a lot of drive-in play and maybe even grindhouse theater type of play over here in the States.
Oh yes.
And that is a film with many titles. Twitch of the Death Nerve, also known as Bay of Blood. Did this have like a weird fake sequel title too?
Probably.
Was this? Oh man, this has so many frickin' titles. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, one of them's an Ecology of Murder, I think.
Oh yeah, Last House on the Left Part 2 is one of the titles it got stuck with. But yeah, this is 1971, and this is a giallo, but it is also, more importantly, it is a major body count film. This is 13 bodies in this movie, and some of them are dispatched very gruesomely. The plot is basically a plot of land, a plot of land with a bay. A beautiful bay is up for grabs after the older woman who owned it is murdered. And so everyone's out to get this land. Some folks are going to try to preserve it, make it into a nature preserve, and other folks want to make it a bunch of condos and like a vacation hotspot. And each person, each killer, oh, well, I don't want to say anymore. But I will say there is more than one killer, but that's not ruining anything, I promise.
It has one of the finest openings of an Italian horror film ever.
Oh, yes, it does.
Of course, parts of it were lifted wholesale in the Friday the 13th series.
That's right. A few murders and a few of the set pieces were liberally borrowed from, but, you know, who cares? It's if it meant that people are talking about Bay of Blood, that's good. My one criticism of this movie has nothing to do with the movie itself, has everything to do with the DVD releases I've seen.
The volume.
This has every version of this DVD that I've seen has terrible volume issues. The English dub is noticeably and hideously too quiet, and the music and the stingers and everything are too loud. So when you're watching this film and you're trying to balance it, you can't. You can't balance it. And the parts that have dialogue are dialogue heavy. You know, not to say this is a boring movie, it's a very exciting film, but there's a lot of story going on.
There's a lot of story going on.
And it's just a nightmare to try and follow along. And I don't think any of the versions have the Italian dub with English subtitles. And I'd be fine just with subtitles for the hearing impaired. I mean, I haven't watched this through headphones. I think if you're watching this on your computer through headphones, maybe it's not as noticeable. But man, it sucks on pretty much every TV I've ever tried to watch this on. I don't know. And then of course Anchor Bay promised that they would fix the problem, and they didn't make it worse. But I don't think they did anything.
I've not heard of them doing anything.
They said they were. They said that that Bay of Blood would be remastered. The audio, they said specifically the audio would be remastered.
You know what they probably said?
What?
Screw it. Let Blue Underground fix it.
Yeah. Hey, Blue Underground, fix it. I agree. And Blue Underground probably won't. They'll probably just re-release the same disc.
Well, from what I understand, I think it's Redemption that's putting out the 3 Blu-ray titles.
Yeah.
So I wonder did Redemption pick them all up?
I don't know.
You know, it's a good question.
Only time will tell. And you know, it's so funny. Like, where is the Bava box set 3?
Yeah.
Because you know this shit ain't complete. I mean, I know Anchor Bay put out everything they owned, probably, but man, I mean, I would love to get just everything in a nice, tidy package, you know.
Well, I mean, this is where the American slasher honestly has its beginning. I mean, I know there's all this, and we've talked about it, but for the body count type film, this is where the giallo and the slasher cross.
Yeah, this is where they meet and run off and they're separate. Because, you know, after this, you have your proto-slashers and your other body count films. But nothing quite like this.
I can't really overstate how important the film is and how good the film is.
Oh, it's a solid flick. I mean, it's not just stupid stuff. It's got all kinds of amazing symbolism buried in it. It's got visual cues and mood that it establishes, and it's got moments that are a little surreal and strange, and it just piles on the bodies too. It's, oh man, the cast is freaking awesome.
There's a lot of characters in the cast.
You got Luigi Pistilli, Claudine Auger is beautiful. Leopoldo Trieste, who is a comedic actor. He plays is an entomologist who lives on the bay, and he's a very eccentric character. I would see him again. I was up late one night watching cable, and I saw Pussycat, I Love You, the Italian sequel to What's New, Pussycat. And Leopoldo Trieste was in it, and I was like, the dude from Bay of Blood? What?
Wow.
And he's married, in the movie, he's married to Laura Betty, who, of course, was amazing in Hatchet for the Honeymoon. And she plays a drunk fortune teller, his wife, in that movie, in Bay of Blood, and she's great.
Who plays the blonde?
The main chick?
Yeah, the one towards the end with Chris Abram.
I think that's oh, you mean the one in the shack, right?
Yeah.
God, there's so many people in this movie. I'm guessing Anna Maria Rosati? There's so many people in this movie that it's hard to keep track of.
Also look for Mrs. Voorhees' sweater, because it's there.
That's right. Yes, there's a very distinct knit on the sweater. Look for Nicoletta Elmy is a young kid. She is the greatest child of Italian horror.
No doubt.
She is a very odd-looking little girl, and she plays a very important role in this movie, which I will not say anything about. My favorite just hottie, like just out hottie in this movie, and I don't use that term very often, is Brigitte Skay, who plays Brunhilde, the German chick, the one who goes for a dip in the water.
Yeah.
And she ends up running into a very nasty corpse. I mean, talk about disgusting freaking bodies. Not only is this a gross corpse, but it also has a squid that's on its face, and it's like the most horrific reveal of a corpse is they see the body of this guy, and it's got the freaking squid just slowly sliding across his face, and it's like, ooh, doctor, nasty.
It's pretty gross.
Oh yeah. But yeah, Brunhilde, man, she is hot as hell.
I like the blonde.
I do too. She is really hot, and I just don't know which one she is.
I can't remember.
Hey, we did a lot of research for this episode, damn it.
Basically, if you have not seen Bay of Blood, it's an imperative that you see it.
Do it. It is richly rewarding film, and you'll just come away going, huh? Wow. Ooh? But probably different noises than that.
Maybe.
Stelvio Cipriani, one of his most recognizable scores. Really, really excellent music. Amazing music in this. Yeah, I can't say enough good about this film. This is almost my favorite Bava film of all time. Amazing.
It's very close. Mm-hmm.
Very close. I don't know. Anything else? Have we done Bay of Blood to death now?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's move right along then, real quick, to 1972's Baron Blood.
Yay!
Yes, Baron Blood is excellent. This is a film about a young man named Peter who is traveling home to Austria to claim his inheritance, which is a castle, a very gothic, old, beautiful castle. And of course, the castle has a history. A very evil man named Otto von Kleist, the Baron, the Bloody Baron, tortured people and dominated the land with a cruel, cruel fist, and also his forearm. And they're trying to, in order to make some money off his castle, they're trying to turn it into a tourist trap with all kinds of torture devices in the basement, and actually, play up the whole darker history and make it a kitschy thing. And Elke Sommer is in this as Eva, who is the I guess she's kind of, I don't know if she's like the tour. She's gonna be the tour guide, or she's the I forget.
Eye candy.
What's that?
Eye candy.
Yeah, she's the eye candy of the place. She's there to encourage investors. Of course, there's just tons and tons of atmosphere in this movie. It is just a beautiful film. I think that this was meant to be a big return to the kind of Gothic style for Mr. Bava. I don't know if this film really took off or not.
It was a big hit.
Was this a big hit? I can't remember.
It was, yeah. Yeah, this led to a later film, actually.
Oh.
It was.
I know what you mean. Okay.
Yeah. And it was a pretty sizable hit from what I understand.
Okay.
It's got Joseph Cotton. They tried to get Vincent Price, but Vincent Price had such a hard time making the Goldfoot films.
Yes, Dr. Goldfoot and the Bikini Bombs.
So he didn't really want to come do it.
I'm
I
sorry.
don't know that they really
Dr.
had the
Goldfoot
money.
and the Girl Bombs.
Right.
Which is a hideous, terrible movie.
Oh, something that I meant to mention in Bay of Blood. Christopher Lee saw Bay of Blood and was just absolutely revolted because he was just wanting to check out what his old friend Mario Bava was up to. And of course, there's a lot of difference between Bay of Blood and the Whip
He was
of the
horrified.
Body. Yeah, he was horrified. And of course, there was an outcry over Bay of Blood. But it's like, dude, you were in The Howling too, the marsupials. So
yeah, come
shut
on.
up.
No, it was Howling 2, Your Sister is a Werewolf.
Oh, that's right. Your sister, whatever.
He would have probably shot himself if he'd been in the marsupials. Baron Blood is a little restrained. It's not nearly like a gore fest or anything. He did kind of hold back a little after Bay of Blood. I think, and it serves the movie well. This is a cool movie. I'm glad that it was a hit. For some reason I remembered, maybe I'm thinking of a different movie that this was not a hit, but I'm glad it was, because it's pretty fantastic.
It's a personal favorite of mine. It's one that I go back to more often than not.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. He does an homage to House of Wax in the middle of it.
Oh, yeah.
Which I really enjoy, the chase scene.
Oh, yeah, he does.
Yeah. This has got, what is it? Luigi Pigozzi, the Italian Peter Lorre.
Luciano Pigozzi.
Luciano Pigozzi.
He is awesome.
I always enjoy seeing him. It was a big hit. I think it's been, I think there's an episode of a show from the 80s. I don't remember if it was Amazing Stories or the new Twilight Zone, but I think Joe Dante homaged Baron Blood in an episode of one of those anthology series.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's got some replay value. It's got Rada Razumov in it.
Oh yeah, she's a great part.
Some very nice camera work.
Yeah, she Rada Razumov. That's a hard name to say. She's in the movie as a psychic or a fortune teller, and they approach her to do a seance. And oh man, I love me a seance.
You do.
It's awesome. We didn't mention Luciano Pigozzi in Blood and Black Lace. He was in that one too. Oh,
that's right.
And
also Nicoletta Elmy is in Baron Blood.
That's right. Nicoletta Elmy, once again, a strange-looking child in a movie. She really got around, man.
She has got a great batting average.
Who was the producer on this one? That was I keep thinking of his. Was it Arkoff? It was produced by Samuel Z. Arkoff. And
no, it's the other guy,
Alfredo Leone.
Alfredo Leone. Thank you.
Yeah, those are the guys who brought this wonderful film, helped bring this wonderful film to life. And they actually got, here's a little trivia for you, they actually got Mario Bava to leave Italy to film this film.
Which was a feat.
Yes, because he did not like to travel at all. And they filmed this partially in Germany. A beautiful castle that they shot in.
I do love me some Baron Blood.
Man, it's just great. It's and like you said, it's one that's you can go back to over and over again.
Oh yeah,
a lot of fun.
There's a central mystery, or at least they try to make you think it's a mystery, but when you're watching it, you're like, I know exactly what is going on.
The mystery angle is kind of half-assed. It will not keep you guessing. You'll not be wondering, whoa. Do my eyes deceive me? They don't.
No, you know exactly what's happening.
Well, we're going to take a break real quick. I think, were you done with Baron Blood?
I believe we are.
Cool, man. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with probably our last round of films here.
My name is John Harrington. I'm 30 years old. I am a paranoiac. Paranoiac. An enchanting word. So civilized and full of possibilities. The fact is, I am completely mad. The realization of which annoyed me at first, but is now amusing to me. Quite amusing. Nobody suspects that I am a madman. A dangerous murderer. Not Mildred, my wife, nor the employees of my fashion center, nor, of course, my customers.
All right, we are in the home stretch of our Mario Bava discussion, and we're going to talk about another quirky, strange, unexpected thing that Mario Bava did. After Twitch of the Death Nerve and Baron Blood, he did 4 Times That Night, which is a sex comedy. I was not expecting when I heard that he'd done a sex comedy, I just was flabbergasted. And of course, I wasn't surprised by how good it is. The film 4 Times That Night, it's about a couple who meets in the park, and they go on a date, and it's broken up into 4 stories, each told from a different perspective of how their date ended. It's very much like Rashomon in that the same event is told from 4 different perspectives, and each time you hear the story, or see the story rather, you get more information of what might have happened. And this is just excellent stuff. I've only seen this once, but I was really impressed that he could shift gears and pull off something, this much fun.
I've only seen it once too, so.
I mean, I look forward to revisiting it, but.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt. I think this was pretty much, and he did such a good job with it, but this was pretty much rounding out his bases. He had done Peplum, sci-fi, gothic horror, giallo, spaghetti western, and now sex comedy.
And, he didn't live long enough to do infomercials, so.
Oh, and he did a Eurocrime film, too, so.
Oh, man.
He hit all the bases.
Now, see, if he'd just gone into porn like Joe D'Amato, he would have been a rich man.
Yeah, or maybe a zombie film.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He didn't do a zombie film. What a dumbass. Way to go, Bava. No, we forgive you. Hey, he did do a zombie film. It's called Planet of the Vampires.
That's true, yeah. Hey. So there you
go. This movie has Brett Halsey is the main guy. He's pretty amazing in this. Brigitte Skay, who was in who's in we just talked about it. Bay of Blood is also in this. There's a lot of sleazy characters, but it's all tongue in cheek. It's all meant to be fun. Like, even when they're kind of doing some gay stereotypes or some of the predatory lesbian character, that kind of stuff is it's really done really silly. And of course you've got one of the most surprising casting things in this movie is Dick Randall, who is the exploitation director producer guy.
You said Dick.
He's a weirdo. Plays a janitor, a peeping Tom type voyeur guy. That's, oh man, it's bizarre. Yeah, just, when you think you've seen it all, it's Mario Bava doing a sex comedy. I don't know what else to say about this.
Yeah, no, I don't really either. It's lighthearted fare, but it's definitely worth a watch, and I'm looking forward to going back and seeing it again.
Yeah,
I know my wife really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I have a feeling it'll be worth a second viewing too. So, yeah. Let's move on to what I believe is both of our favorites. Our favorite Bava movie of all time. Brad and I never agree on this show.
Ever. Except most of the time. We are talking about 1974's Lisa and the Devil. I think this is one of the great travesties of horror cinema. I think you're saying that based on the success of Baron Blood, he was given carte blanche to do what he wanted.
They told Mario Bava, do whatever the heck you want. And so he co-wrote and directed this frickin' movie called Lisa and the Devil, starring Elka Summer. Elka Summer plays the titular Lisa. She Hey, you like that? She travels to an old city where she sees a depiction of the devil on a mural. And of course, the devil is Telly Savalas, but see, everyone in America already knew that. It's like things just go batshit crazy. I mean, she meets up with some quirky characters in an old mansion, and they have to stay the night there because their car breaks down, and this is just a strange movie. And people start getting killed in various bizarre ways. The devil is basically collecting his due, and that's all you need to know.
When I think of this film, I think of the word phantasmagoric.
It is that. It is very phantasmo-orgasmogoric.
Well, I think it's almost, if you were to assign such things as properties to something, that this would almost be his Suspiria in a way, because it is very dreamlike.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know that I could sit down and explain the plot in a way. And it's like you and I were talking about off the phone. This show doesn't preclude us doing an episode on any of these individual films.
Oh yeah,
and I can definitely see us doing a Lisa and the Devil episode.
Absolutely.
There's just so much going on, and tell us the tragedy of Lisa.
Oh
and
yes,
the Devil.
yes. The travesty / tragedy I mentioned was that when he completed the film, it was shown at a festival. And despite some interest shown by some investors, the producers, not really understanding, or for other reasons I don't know off the top of my head, they shelved this movie. And when they finally got done shelving the movie, they called Mario Bava back to film some scenes to make it into an Exorcist ripoff called The House of Exorcism. And being that Mario Bava didn't have a whole lot of money and wasn't working very much, he took it and they made this into I consider, pretty terrible Exorcist ripoff. Mainly because it features so much of the story and the scenes from Lisa and the Devil that it doesn't make any damn sense.
I've not seen it.
I can't sit through it. I get too angry. I have watched it in bits and pieces, and it's just fucking terrible. Like, if Mario Bava changing with the times meant that he was gonna make, you know, I don't know, fucking crap, you know, like Andrea Bianici crap. I don't even like I love Exorcist ripoffs. I have talked about this. I love Exorcist ripoffs more than I love The Exorcist. But I cannot stand the fact that they raped this movie. For lack of a better term.
Well, you know, out of all these films that we've talked about, and I do think that if you've not seen Kill Baby Kill, please do. If you've not seen Bay of Blood, please do. You know, if you've not seen Danger Diabolic, please do. But as for all the films that we've talked about tonight, I think this is the most important. He had carte blanche to do what he wanted to do, and this is what he did.
Yeah. And
I don't think he hits a false note in the whole film. It is just one big surreal dream. It's a return, like Mare and Blood, to some gothic type horror, but it's also got some of the more vicious horror of Bay of Blood.
Yeah.
It's a statement film, and the fact that somebody shelved it, that this didn't go to theaters, that people didn't get to write reviews about it at the time, I'm sure it broke his heart.
Yeah.
It breaks mine.
And you know what? It may not have been a big hit. I mean, this may have been, maybe they were right. Maybe this would have been a flop. But years and years later, people would have been, you know, oh, this movie I saw when I was a kid. Oh, man, you know, would have, I mean, more people got to see at least something of it because of House of Exorcism, but, But anyway, we will definitely be doing an episode on this movie one day. But the cast, Telly Savalas, Elka Summer, Sylvia Koshina, who I love, Eduardo Fajardo, Alida Valli, speaking of Suspiria.
No doubt.
Alida Valli is in this. It's just, this is a magical film. This is, if you like Italian horror, you will love this movie. This is good shit.
Yeah, it needs to be seen by as many people that I know will love it when they see it.
Yeah. I don't know what else to say, really, at this point in time. I think this is one that we would probably go scene by scene. We'll go Nashi cast on this biatch.
Oh yes, no doubt about it.
All right. Well, let's begrudgingly move along to what ended up being Mario Bava's last film. He did make a TV movie after this, but I've yet to be able to track it down. This is Shock from 1977. It was released as Beyond the Door 2. Beyond the Door being a Exorcist ripoff. And this movie has some possession in it, but is not by any means an Exorcist film in any way, shape, or form. The plot, real quick, is Daria Nicolodi and her new husband, John Steiner, move into a new house along with her son from a previous marriage, Marco, who gives Bob in House by the Cemetery a run for his money as far as irritating children goes.
Boy.
Oh, man. Phew. But it turns out, or it seems, that young Marco is possessed by the spirit of Daria Nicolodi's previous husband, who was a junkie loser who apparently killed himself. And this movie is pretty interesting on multiple levels. I think this is a very good movie, but it doesn't feel completely like a Lamberto Bava. Oh, I just spoiled it. It doesn't feel completely like a Mario Bava film because our buddy Lamberto Bava, aka Lam Bava, son of the great Mario, was co-directing this, or assistant directing this. But I think his influence is very strong on this movie.
Well, as I've said before, Dad's not coming in today, but he said we should go ahead and film the box cutter scene, the flying box cutter. No, seriously, he said let's do it. Lam Bava's fingerprints are on it. And it also, it is the only Bava film to undertake the look of the later Italian horror films. Like, it's much more akin to like one of the Fulci films from the early 80s.
Yeah.
It's the change, and it's hard to explain, but kind of like a Joe D'Amato film from its period. It's a change in aesthetic, and possibly even the film that they used. It's hard to believe that he went from Lisa and the Devil to this, and some of that, like you said, is Lam Bava, I think. But also, I think it's a changing of the time. It's a very interesting film. It's one that I do enjoy. I think Daria Nicolodi's really good in it. I love the cover where she's looking through the hole.
Oh, the artwork for the poster is just perfect.
It's amazing. It's one that I do enjoy. I do believe it's a tad underrated.
Oh,
what do you think?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's one of those films that I think more folks who've seen it once should give it a couple more viewings. Because it does really come together after. Because I mean, the first time you see it, the flying box cutter it just throws everything into the crapper for a moment.
It does.
You kind of have to come back. They tried a lot of crazy shit in this movie. They kind of threw a bunch of stuff at the wall to see if it sticks. I mean, come on, it has a freaking dresser moving by itself that's scary. Like, it has like a big armoire dealie that just comes, It's like, it has its own personality. It's like, what? How does that work? Why does that work, but then the flying box cutter doesn't?
Well, do you consider it an Exorcist ripoff?
This one? Not at all. Not at all. No. It's got possession, but there's no, there's no demon, and there's no priest to come save the day. I mean, they call in Ivan Razumov as a freaking psychologist to come and try to help. But this movie has definitely got that Euro horror vibe.
It does.
That is much stronger in the late 70s films. That vibe that I look for, and we did an entire episode on.
It does have that in spades.
Oh yeah, and this just feels like something important, like it's it's his last movie, but it's also his son's introduction into the films. And I mean, say what you will about, Lam Bava. He's done some really cool movies. He has yet to do anything even close to his dad's work, but he's just a different dude,
Yeah, he is.
He did make a film called Ghost Son in 2005, 2006-ish. That is kind of a remake of this.
Really?
Yeah, I was watching it, and it starts off a little differently, but then by the end of the movie, it really does go into a very shock-like plot. If you find Ghost Son, it's probably in your forgotten dollar bin somewhere. Because it was on a weird label. It was on a really strange DVD company that put it out, but it's a decent film. It's a decent film.
I like shock.
I do too. I love the score. The score is really good. Who was that?
It's like Virgo or something. It's like a goblin, but not goblin.
Oh yeah, it's the dudes from Goblins split up. They called themselves E-Libra.
E-Libra.
I love it. But yeah, I think oh, I'm losing my train of thought here. I don't know. I don't want to be done talking about Shock, but I don't know what else to say about it.
Yeah, I think it's if you've not seen it, go out and see it. You know, you could probably find it pretty cheap.
Oh, it's got a great scare in it.
It does. You're right.
I won't say a word about it, but if you've never seen this film before, there's a great moment that just, it gave me chills, man. I mean, I had every hair standing up on my frickin' arms when I saw that moment, and I was like, seriously? Like, I have not been scared, like, really petrified by anything in Mario
Right.
Bava. Like, I mean, obviously some, you know, there's scares in Black Sabbath and stuff, but nothing really just so caught me off guard. It's pretty brilliant.
Good stuff.
Oh yeah. I mean, there are other films. You know, obviously there's more films of Mario Bava's we didn't talk about just because Brad and I hadn't seen all the same ones. I highly recommend Rabid Dogs. Rabid Dogs is another one of those films that got shelved. I recommend not watching Dr. Goldfoot and the Girl Bombs unless you really want to torture yourself. It is an odious comedy film. I started watching Knives of the Avenger, but of course I fell asleep. That's not a good recommendation. How about here's a recommendation for you. I own Eric the Conqueror, but I haven't opened it yet.
I've got it as well.
How's that sound?
Yeah.
That means you should watch it, people. And I hated Roy Colt and Winchester Jack, but I'm willing to give it another shot.
I haven't seen it. But now that I'm into spaghetti westerns, I'll probably give it a go.
It's definitely interesting, but I won't say it's good. But I think that concludes our Mario Bava. I mean, we just blasted through that, man. That was fun.
Yes, it was. I congratulate you, Richard.
I congratulate you, sir. And we did it without using our tongues.
Oh, telepathy.
It's man
Send us some
telepathy.
email, people. Listen, if you're somebody that has sent us multiple emails before, send them again.
Yeah.
We don't get tired.
Send them harder.
Exactly.
Well, you know what, Brad? We did a sort of microphone test episode. Let me just say once again, it is great to have you back, and we're going to try to
Thank you.
knock out as many episodes as we can before our schedules go to hell in a handbasket again.
Ugh.
Yep. Roof.
I've got so little to do, but yet it takes up so much time.
Hey, me too. Cool. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Appreciate it.
And let me tell you about Mario Bava. Guy was a saint. That was me pretending to be drunk.
Well.
Instead, I'm just drunk on Italian horror. Will that show up on a breathalyzer? What if they don't hook it up to my mouth? Hello? Please don't leave me.